Look at this. This can give you ideas about what this part is going to be about. But I just want to show you things, and you watch and listen to it. Try to discover this part of the lesson. I don't want to teach you anything right now. You are going to understand it yourselves. Find what you need to learn from this part. I know you can do it. That's why I'm not teaching it first. I'll tell you later. What is happening here?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and then a 2 and then a 3 and then a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and then a 2 and then a 3 and then a 4.
Okay, think about that little clock going word from word to word. And those words were these highlighted, stressed words, right? And these numbers show time. مدت زمانی که طول کشیده جمله گفته بشه رو به ثانیه اینجا نشون دادم. So what do you think? What is this teaching you? اون clock نشون میداد چیزی که زمان محسوب میشه برای گفتن اون جمله به چی بستگی داره؟ به تعداد stressed سیلابل های اون جمله و اینکه سیلابل های unstressed با سرعت خونده میشن که هرچی تعداد سیلابل های unstressed کنار هم بیشتر باشه تندتر باید خونده بشن. قبلا توی درس قبلی یاد گرفتیم که انگلیسی ترجیح میده توی یک جمله بین سیلابل های stressed سیلابل های unstressed داشته باشه. یه جورایی پاز، یه جورایی حالت استراحت، به خاطر اینکه سیلابل ها stressed هستن، انرژی میبرن و خب ترجیحاً اون ریتم داشتن خیلی هم جمله رو شنیدنش و گفتنش رو جالب تر میکنه و همین که یک راه نفسی ایجاد میکنه برای گوینده. این چیزیه که توی انگلیسی صحبت کردن گوینده ها ترجیحش میدن. سیلابل های unstressed به طور کلی کم اهمیت هستن که unstressed گفته میشن، ولی به طور خیلی خاص خیلی غیر مهمن و اون به خاطر اینه که ریتم رو ایجاد بکنن توی جمله ها و تفاوتشون نسبت به stress سیلابل ها بیشتر شنیده بشه، اون تفاوت رو ایجاد کنن، یعنی stress سیلابل ها رو پررنگ ترش کنن. و توی این تایم هم میبینین که خیلی دقیقا مثل هم نیستن، طبیعتا کمی باید طول بکشه وقتی که تعداد unstressed سیلابل ها بیشتر میشه، ولی خیلی نزدیک همن. میبینین که تعداد stressed سیلابل های هر سه تا جمله مشترکه، بنابراین باید با یک میزان سرعت یکسان همشون خونده بشن. مثلا اگر که هر ستای این جمله یک سیلابلشون استرس بود، فقط one stressed بود، همشون باید حدودا همون یک ثانیه، یک خورده ثانیه بیشتر طول نمیکشیدن، هرچند که کلی unstressed سیلابل بعدش می بود که البته اون غیر عادیه، من حالا دارم مثال میزنم. و میبینین وقتی که unstressed سیلابل بین stressed سیلابل ها وجود نداره و انگلیسی زبان این رو دوست نداره. چیکار کردیم؟ توی درس قبل داشتیمش. اینکه استرس سیلابل هایی کنار هم هستن رو یک کمی بیشتر میکشیمش. مثلا میگیم one two، نمیگیم one. یک کمی طولانی تر میشه و یک مکسی هم همینطور که اینجا کاما میبینین با یه مکسی هم همراهه. یعنی یک جوری اون آن استرس رو ایجاد میکنه، آن استرس سیلابل رو بین این دوتا ایجاد میکنه، اون فاصله که باید باعث ایجاد ریتم بشه رو ایجاد میکنه. خب حالا که متوجه شدیم جمله هایی که تعداد استرس سیلابل هاشون مثل همه باید با سرعت حدوداً یکسان خونده بشن، قبل از اینکه بریم سراغ جمله هایی که جدیدن و خب ترجیحاً ازتون میخوام که فعلا اول سراغ اونا نرین و اینجا ویدیو رو پاز کنین و این کاری که میگم رو انجام بدین. توی قسمت minimal past sentences همین درس که اونجایی که استرس پترن ها رو کار کردیم، جمله هایی که تعداد یکسانی از استرس سیلابل دارن رو پیدا کنین. علامت بزنین همون جمله ها رو. بکنم یه چند تا هستن که مثل همه و بعد سعی کنین که فقط بخونین از روشون. دفعه اول سیلابل های استرس رو بلند و طولانی تر بخونین و به این طولانی تر خوندن توجه کنین و انرژی توی صداتون بذارین و اون سیلابل. و بار دوم که اونا رو میخونین و تمرین در واقع دارین الان میکنین، این دفعه آن استرس سیلابل ها رو مرکز توجهتون قرار بدین و اونا رو کاملا بی انرژی و سریع بخونین، ازشون سریع رد شین و خیلی انرژی کمی بهشون بدین نسبت به اون استرس سیلابل ها. و بعد که این دو مرحله رو گذروندین و آماده شدین، حالا میتونین جمله ها رو دونه دونه بخونین و همزمان تایم بگیرین و ببینین که چند ثانیه طول کشید. تمام تلاشتون رو بکنین که جمله ها در یک زمان یکسان، حدوداً یکسان خونده بشن. اوکی؟ این تمرین نسبتاً عجیب رو انجام بدین و بعد ادامه این ویدیو رو میبینیم. و یادتون باشه هر جا که آن استرس سیلابل های بیشتری کنار هم بودن، سرعت رو بالاتر ببرین روی اونا. این تمرین شما رو برای قسمت بعد آماده میکنه. چون میدونم که با جمله های minimal pair sentences آشنا هستین و این تمرین شروع خیلی خوبیه. Go ahead and begin, then we'll continue. Listen to this sentence and tell me what syllables in this sentence are stressed. Write them down, okay? And you can listen as many times as you need.
4A.
How do you shorten Annabelle and Janet?
Anne and Jan.
4A.
How do you shorten Annabelle and Janet?
Anne and Jan.
How do you shorten? Annabelle and Janet. Annabelle. How do you shorten? Da 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 da. Annabelle and Janet. Da 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 da. So what do you think? Stress syllables, where are they? How do you shorten Annabelle and Janet? Anne and Jan. Listen to the audio again and try to repeat after it.
How do you shorten Annabelle and Janet?
Anne and Jan.
Who works with Aaron? You remember Aaron, right? Yeah, you remember. We have 3 answers for this question. 3 same answers in meaning, but with different wordings. The words are different, but the meanings are the same. So let's listen to them.
Who works with Aaron?
Anne, Jan. Anne and Jan. Annabelle and Janet.
توی هر کدوم از این جمله ها فقط 2 تا استرس سیلابل میبینیم و به تدریج توش unstressed سیلابل اضافه کرده و جمله رو طولانی ترش کرده. ولی همه جمله ها توی بازه زمانی تقریبا یکسان گفته میشن و اون unstressed سیلابل ها باید سریعتر خونده بشن تا به اندازه اون جمله‌ای طول بکشه که unstressed سیلابل نداره. پس یعنی هرچی که این تعداد سیلابل ها بیشتر بشه خب طبیعتاً باید سریعتر بخونیم تا بتونیم برسیم به تایمی که برای همشون تقریباً یکسان بشه. Now are you ready to repeat after the audio? Let's do this.
Who works with Aaron?
Anne, Jan. Anne and Jan. Annabelle and Janet.
Very good. Oh, look at that. We have 3 more sentences with the same meaning, like number 1, 2, and 3. They have the same meaning, but they are longer. Let's see and listen to them. Are you ready?
There's Annabelle and there's Janet. Well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Well, first there's Annabelle and then there's also Janet. There's Annabelle and there's Janet. Well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Well, first there's Annabelle and then there's also Janet.
As you can see, more and more unstressed syllables are added to each sentence to make it longer. They all have 2 stressed syllables. So now we want to listen again to the speaker and see how his speech gets faster when he says more and more unstressed syllable next to each other. وقتی تعداد unstressed syllable ها کنار هم بیشتر میشن سرعت حرف زدن گوینده هم بیشتر میشه و من میخوام که شما روی این تمرکز کنین و حواستون به این باشه و متوجه بشین که جمله به جمله سرعت حرف زدن اسپیکر بالاتر میره. چون در واقع این جمله با این همه تعداد سیلابل به خاطر اینکه 2 تا استرس سیلابل بیشتر نداره به همون اندازه طول میکشه گفتنش که جمله کوتاه‌تری میگیره که اون هم 2 تا استرس سیلابل داره. Let's listen and notice.
There's Annabelle and there's Janet. Well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Well, first there's Annabelle and then there's also Janet.
Did you feel it? How he spoke this sentence very, very fast compared to these. He gradually speeds up in his speech. So you see, from this syllable to this syllable, it doesn't matter. Look, from this syllable to this syllable, it doesn't matter how many unstressed syllables we have between them. پس تعداد اینها اصلا مهم نیست که چند تاست. سرعت بالاتر میره برای اینکه زمان بندی برای گفتن هر جمله توی هر 3 تا جمله یکسان بشه. بهتره که جمله ها رو اونجوری که برای minimal pair sentences بهتون گفتم تمرین کنین. یعنی اینکه اول تمرکز روی stressed syllable ها و بعد تمرکز روی unstressed syllables و بعد خوندن کل جمله. اما اینجا به خاطر اینکه خب اون minimal pair sentences براتون آشنا بود و معنیش و کلماتش و همه چیش رو میدونستین و خب جمله ها کوتاه‌تر بودن. معنی همه جمله ها یکیه ولی کلمات متفاوتی که استفاده شده بهتره که معنیش توی ذهنمون باشه و اون موقع خب گفتنش هم راحت تره. پس یک مرحله به قبل مرحله اول اضافه میکنیم و اون خوندن جمله و فهمیدنشه. Okay, there's Annabelle and there's Janet. I look at the words, I understand it, and then when I'm ready, I go to step 2. Now, I focus on stressed syllables and I say them with energy, say them louder and longer. I read these, but I focus my energy on them. There's Annabelle and there's Janet. Okay, you can do this again and again as many times as you need. I just do this once because I just want to tell you how to do it, to know the steps. If I don't read and reread, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't, because you need to get your tongue around it. Now I focus on unstressed syllables, but I do this part by part, not all at once. There's. Okay, British English. This is silent. There's, not theirs. So this makes it faster. And consonant, vowel. What happens? They connect. How do you say it? The za, the Xanabel, the Xanabel. It makes it like one word, right? The Xanabel. You see, I give it less energy, more energy to this. The Xanabel. The Xanabel. And I connect them and make them faster. And you see, this is unstressed. It's and. It's not and. And consonant, vowel. We can connect them and make this shorter so you can say it faster. The Xanabelend. Annabelend. The Xanabelend. The Xanabelend. There's Janet. There's Janet. And there's Janet. Okay, I feel ready to say the sentence completely. There's Annabelle and there's Janet. There's Annabelle and there's Janet. There's Annabelle and there's Janet. همینطور سرعت خوندنم رو هم میبرم بالاتر وقتی که به اون مرحله آخر رسیدم که هم گفتن stress syllable ها رو و هم unstressed ها رو با هم انجام میدم. Here, well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Okay, I understand this sentence. I know the new words added to it. Well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Okay, now I focus on these. Well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Now I focus on unstressed syllables. Well, there's Annabelle. Well, there's Annabelle. Well, there's Annabelle. You see, I have no energy saying these. Well, there's Annabelle. And I say them very fast. Not too fast, but try. Well, there's Annabelle. Well, there's Annabelend. Then there's. Then there's. Then there's. Then there's. Then there's Janet. Then there's Janet. Well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Still focusing on unstressed syllables. Well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Annabelle and then there's Janet. Then this. This is a little bit, the difficult part when you want to say it. Your tongue, doesn't work in here. Then there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Then there's. If you have difficulty in this part, I don't blame you because it's okay. Yeah, you just need to be patient with yourselves. Okay. Now I'm ready to read the sentence with both stressed and unstressed syllables together. Well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. Well, there's Annabelle and then there's Janet. It gets faster and faster. And for number 6, you say, well, first, so this is a new word. First, there's Annabelle, and then there's also. Okay, also is new in here. I understand the sentences. I'm okay with the words. Okay, and now let's put the energy in stressed ones. Well, first there's Annabelle, and then there's also Janet. Now let's focus on unstressed syllables. Well, first there's Annabelle. We know there's Annabelle. It's very familiar. We have practiced before. Well, first there's Annabelle. Well, first is Annabelle. Well, first is Annabelle and then there's also. You see, consonant, vowel, connect them. It makes it, you can say it faster. Then there's also. Okay, I'm ready to say this with unstressed, focus on unstressed syllables. Well, first there's Annabelle and then there's also Janet. Well, first is Annabelle and then there's also Janet. Well, first is Annabelle and then there's also Janet. Well, first is Annabelle and then there's also Janet. Well, first is Annabelle and then there's also Janet. Okay. Now I'm ready to say both stressed and unstressed syllables. Okay, ready? Well, first is Annabelle and then there's also Janet. Well, first is Annabelle and then there's also Janet. Well, first is Annabelle and then there's also Janet. You can say this. You should say this many times to be able to say it comfortably and correctly, but don't be too fast. You don't have to. The most important thing is for you to contrast and, show the differences between stressed and unstressed syllables in sentences. The speed is not very important. But try. It's like a game, Little by little, you become better at it. Let's see and listen to the last sentence, the longest sentence of all.
Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then there's also Janet. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then there's also Janet.
Wow. He said those unstressed syllables, which are a lot, very fast. You see a lot of unstressed syllables next to each other, so you need to speed up. Let's listen again to him.
Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then there's also Janet.
Okay. Again, just 2 stressed syllables, and you see more added unstressed ones, which are, well, first of all. This is new. First of all, there's Annabelle, and then you know, there's also Janet. Okay, new syllables. I understand the sentence, and I want to say it with just focusing on the stressed syllables. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then, there's also Janet. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then, there's also Janet. Okay, now unstressed ones, part by part. We know this. Well, first of all, consonant, vowel. They all connect and they make one word like first of all, like festival. First of all. This is all. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then, there's also, and then, you can say, This makes it faster. You don't have to say you because it's unstressed. There's Annabelle, and then, there's also. There's also. There's also. There's also. Consonant, vowel. They become one word. There's also Janet. So we made connections between words, and it helps us say this faster. Now let's just focus on saying these sentences in a very unstressed way. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then there's also. 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 There's also Janet. Okay. Again, unstressed. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle. And then there's also Janet. Okay. I am ready, I think, to say this sentence with both focus on stressed and unstressed syllables. Let's see how it goes. Wish me luck. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then there's also Janet. Ah, I did it. Isn't it cool? We can make it even faster. But it's okay if you need to say words part by part again and again and repeat. That is natural. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then there's also Janet. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then there's also Janet. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then there's also Janet. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then there's also Janet. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then there's also Janet. Okay, that was something, right? But why? Why did he answer like with too many unstressed syllables? He killed himself and us as well. But the answer is clear. Because we want to answer this question, who works with Aaron? And the answers are just Annabelle and Janet, and the short and the stress syllables in them are just these two. So when he wants to say this sentence, he wants to focus on the answer to this question. جواب این سوال به تنهایی با گفتن همین دوتا کلمه کامله دیگه. یعنی جواب دادیم دیگه. Yes. برای همین چون جواب سوال توی همین دوتا کلمه خلاصه میشه، بقیه سیلابل ها رو unstressed گفت. اما این یک انتخابه برای اینجوری جواب دادن. He could make the word first stressed, the word then stressed. اصلا میتونست کل کلمه هایی که میتونن stressed باشن رو stressed کنه و گفتن این جمله رو هم راحت تر کنه. Look at this. He could say these words with stress. He didn't. He wanted to focus on these words. These were more important. He could say, well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then you know there's also Janet. See? Like this. Having fewer number of unstressed syllables between stressed ones and make it easier to say. And you don't have to say it very fast. It takes longer to say the sentence because we have more stressed syllables. We have just 2 in here. Well, first of all, there's Annabelle, and then you know there's also Janet. There's also Janet. پس گفتن این جمله ها با مدل‌های مختلف بستگی به اون چیزی داره که گوینده میخواد روش تاکید داشته باشه و تمرکز و حواس شنونده رو به اونا ببره و منظورش رو بهتر توضیح بده. هر دو مدل گفتن این جمله درسته. به خاطر اینکه توی هر دو ریتم وجود داره. وجود unstressed syllables and stressed syllables in both sentences. و بعضی وقتها بر اساس مود اون سپیکرز و ویژگی های اونها این ریتم فرق میکنه توی صحبتاشون و هر انگلیش سپیکر اصلا ریتم مخصوص به خودش رو داره برای گفتن ریتم توی جمله و اینکه موقعیت تاثیر میذاره روی گفتن ریتم متفاوت، شاید میزان اضطرابشون یا اینکه مثلا چقدر مرددن توی صحبت کردن یا اعتماد به نفس ندارن و یا عادت صحبتشونه، اصلا لهجهشونه. هر کس نوع خاص خودش صحبت میکنه و خب ریتم خاص خودش رو داره. اما ویژگی ریتم توی همه صحبت‌های سپیکرها هست و این وجود stressed و unstressed syllable کنار هم و تمایز خیلی واضحی که توی جمله بهش میدن و هم وقتی که ما میشنویم متوجهش میشیم و اون وقتی که میگه اون حالت رو ایجاد میکنه و قدرت صداش روی بعضی از سیلابل ها بالاتره و روی بعضی پایین تر. این خیلی مهمه که به عنوان یک زبان آموز ما اون رو بهش توجه کنیم و تمرین کنیم و سعی کنیم بتونیم ایجادش کنیم. یعنی اگر که استرس سیلابل و آن استرس سیلابل کنار هم داریم بتونیم نسبت به هم متفاوت اونا رو بگیم. First of all کاملا مشخصه این of اینجا خیلی ساکت شده و انرژیش گرفته شده و بعد از همه این تمرین‌ها و این جمله‌های طولانی رو و سریع گفتن اینو باید بهتون بگم که این یک ویژگی خاص بعضی از زبان هاست که stress timed هستن. یعنی مدت زمانی که طول میکشه یک جمله رو بگن اصلا مهم نیست چند تا سیلابل unstressed توش هست، مهم اینه که چند تا stressed سیلابل توش هست. به اون میزان زمان میبره گفتن جمله، برای همین سرعت صحبت کردنشون سریع‌تره روی اونا. اما توی زبانی مثل زبان ما، توی فارسی ما stress timed نیست زبانمون. ما زبانمون syllable timed هست. یعنی اگر ما بخوایم یک جمله به فارسی با این تعداد سیلابل بگیم مهم نیست که چه کلماتی توش استرس هست یا نه. این جمله چقدر طول میکشه گفتنش؟ به چی بستگی داره؟ به تعداد سیلابل ها. چه stressed چه unstressed. اما توی انگلیسی فقط توجه به تعداد stressed ها، چون stressed timed. ولی این واقعیت رو هم باید پذیرفت که از لحاظ تحقیقاتی و آزمایشی مدرکی نیست برای اینکه English speakers این تایم رو فقط روی stressed syllable هاشون میذارن. جالبه نه؟ بعد از این همه تمرین حالا من همچین واقعیت رو باید بگم ولی هست. یعنی خیلی این ثابت شده نیست و حتی تفاوت بین stress timed و syllable timed languages خیلی توی حالتی که دارن آزمایش میکنن روی تایم گفتن اون جمله ها خیلی تفاوتش مشخص نیست و واقعا نمیتونن تشخیص بدن که مثلا اینی که الان توی انگلیسی گفت stress timed بود یا syllable timed بود. خیلی اینها کاملا ثابت شده نیست، اما به خاطر وجود ریتم unstressed stressed unstressed stressed و وجود اینها توی جمله پذیرفته شده و میدونیم که هست، stress timed به این زبون میگن. برای همینه که خیلی خیلی اصرار نکنین به این که حتما باید اینجوری اینا رو انقدر با سرعت بگین و اگر نتونین بگین یعنی پرونانسیشن خوبی ندارین. این دلیل نمیشه. به هر اندازه که میتونین سرعت رو بالا ببرین و تفاوت بین گفتن استرس و آنسترسی رو ایجاد کنین، این تمرین کافیه برای یک زبان آموز. Look at this part of your books. In here we have 3 questions and 3 answers. Match the questions number 1, 2, and 3 with the pairs of answers A, B, and C. You see the 3 questions and the 3 answers. For each answer, we have 2 forms of answers, like this one and this. 2 same answers in meaning. Again, the meaning is the same, but this sentence is longer because it has more unstressed syllables and it's going to, again, ask you to say it with all those unstressed syllables very fast. Again, answer B has 2 form of answers, and it's the same for the answer C. First of all, I just want you to look at the questions and the answers and match them. So pause the video, do the exercise, and then continue and check your answers. Number 1. What kind of animals are there in book on the San Salvador flight? An anteater, an antelope, and an alligator. He booked an anteater, as well as an antelope, and also an alligator. Question 2. What were 2 of the mistakes Aaron made before he went on holiday? The map, the backup. He lost the map and he didn't do the backup. 3. Who else works at the travel agency? Anthony, Mrs. Allen. Well, there's Anthony and then there's Mrs. Allen. So, like the exercises before, we have 2 answers for each question, and you see the stress patterns after them. And in here, I have highlighted them for you and they are underlined in your books actually, but I just highlighted so you could see them clearly. You know what to do. You need to say each sentence, in each part. Like in part A, you say sentence 1 and you look at the time. How many seconds does it take to say this sentence? Anthony, look at the comma, you need to pause in here. Anthony, Mrs. Allen. Okay, you have the time, you see how many seconds it took you to say the sentence, you write it. Then you try to say this sentence. It needs to take about the same number of seconds to say this as well. So, about the same. Do this for all of them. و تمام تلاشتون رو بکنین که برای هر دو جمله بتونین تو یک زمان یکسان هر دو رو بگین. یعنی اگر که مثلا این جمله طولانی تری یک کم بیشتر طول کشید اشکالی نداره. چند صدم ثانیه is no problem. بر اساس اون مراحلی که ما طی کردیم برای هر جمله‌ای که توی تمرین قبلی داشتیم، یعنی اول به جمله ها و کلماتش نگاه میکردیم، بعد تمرکز روی استرس، بعد روی unstressed و بعد روی کل جمله و بعد یواش یواش بهش سرعت دادن. اینجوری با همین ترتیب جلو برین که احتمال اشتباه کمتر بشه و براتون آسون تر بشه. و در نهایت اگر صدای خودتون رو هم ضبط کنید، در اونجایی که دیگه به تسلط کامل رسیدین و دارین جمله ها رو به سرعت مناسبش میگین، اونجا صدای خودتون رو حتما ضبط کنین و گوش بدین به صداتون. ببینین که اشتباهتون کجاست و یا اصلا چه جوری دارین میگین. صدای خودتون رو وقتی که دارین با ریتم جمله رو میگین خوب گوش بدین و این بالا رفتن سرعت رو روی سیلابل ها چک کنین توی حرف زدن خودتون. Great job until now. That was a very hard work to do and you did it anyway. Well done. This is great. This is going to help you become more confident when you want to speak and you understand more when you listen to other people. So try to learn to say it yourselves. Then you will see the results in both speaking and listening skills of yours. So go on and start and practice this part. I will see you soon. Good luck. You tried. Very good. I'm proud of you. This was very important for you to practice in every part that you had to. And if you did try, it means that you gave yourself actual practice to make your pronunciation skills better. Because if you don't practice, if you don't try, if you don't do things for your pronunciation, then nothing happens. So let's see in here at the end of this unit the important things we have learned and how they help us in English learning. The first one, we have been focusing on physical activity in sound making, which is so important. Pronunciation happens in your body, and when you focus on your mouth and the changes you need to make in your tongue, lips, and jaw to make a sound, and you feel it and you try to be very accurate, make a sound longer where you should put your tongue down or back, or maybe you need to make your lips neutral or spread them. And when you focus on feeling those parts and the changes that you make, and at the same time you hear it in your ears, everything is easier for learning the new sound. You have been doing this from Unit 1, and we keep practicing this, and we remember focusing on physical activity in sound making in the future as well. Dictionary use for both British and American pronunciation, because sometimes maybe you know the pronunciation of words only in American English and you don't know them when they are said in British accent. So then you have problem understanding what people say. So if you check and use dictionary to find the differences for every new word you learn, you're helping yourselves a lot for future listening. Paying attention to meaning first. You know, in minimal pair words and sentences and in dialogue parts, most of the time I told you to focus on meaning first and just don't try to, I don't know, think about sentence stress or the new sound or the differences, sound contrasts, anything. Just focus on meaning because meaning is more important. So from now on, keep in mind that you need to focus and pay attention to meaning first and then on details of pronunciation features. Transcribing. We learn and we train our ears to hear more. We hear things that we didn't hear before, and it helps us understand details and those sounds and those complete words and phrases that we used to miss. And with continuous transcribing, we can notice little differences and more meaning. Practicing English language rhythm. You know, this is not something that a lot of students pay attention to. It's not just the noticing of that. Sometimes practicing it is of a very big help for you to activate your tongue. Sometimes you feel very unconfident and you cannot talk in English. You're afraid and you hate your accent and you don't want to hear your voice. And when you practice English language with rhythm and you learn and you know how to use it, you know what happens when you want to make rhythm and you know some patterns and you practice saying some sentences, at least you try, then you change in the way you think about your pronunciation, your abilities, and you try and you trust yourself more. And also, you will never panic if you listen to an English speaker saying some words very fast, because you know about the rhythm and the changes and how fast they need to be said. And when you practice saying it, when you hear it a lot, when you try to notice rhythm, your future listening skills and also speaking skills will be improved. Last but not least, patience and rule discovery. I totally understand when you don't want to wait, when you want the teacher to tell you everything and you just don't want to discover anything on your own. You say, teacher, just tell me the rule, just tell me what happened here. I don't want to think. I don't want to just, I'm confused. You think you are confused. Patience is a skill. You need to just, in different situations where I just tell you to look at examples, look at pictures, and, watch something and try to understand what is happening, what the rule is. When you think yourselves, you will remember that thing. At least this is what you all know, that when you discover something yourselves, you will remember it better later. So don't be impatient when I'm not explaining something right away. But with this offline, videos and lessons, you need to be more patient. You need to be more focused on trying to solve puzzles. So excellent. You leveled up. You just leveled up because you tried. Let's see what we can do at the end of this lesson and then finish it. Let's check if we can do these things. I can notice the new sound and its difference with the sound air. I can pronounce the new sound and contrast it with air. You need to know the changes in your mouth for both sounds. It's good to go from one sound to another. I can say and notice the new sound in both words and sentences. I can understand and use sentence stress in minimal pair sentences. I understand and use rhythm in sentences with a small or big number of unstressed syllables. I can remember and spell the words with the new sound in Unit 4 and understand that some words with the same spelling sound differently in British English. Do you remember what I mean? For example, the word ask a question. Ask is American pronunciation for this word. In British English, we say ask. This is an example for this. I've been really happy to be with you in this unit, in this lesson, and work with you on pronunciation skills. And can't wait to see you again in a new lesson. Take care and never stop learning. Bye.